Pleased to have Eddie Olczyk back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Eddie?
Hey, pal. How are you, Rich?
I'm better for talking to you. Let's chat about this now, man. Game one, what was it like being in that arena in Las Vegas, Nevada?
Oh, man, it just off the charts. I mean, I've been coming here since I was 18 years old for pleasure and
Yes.
getting my feet wet in a lot of different ways. And, I mean, the town is absolutely up for grabs, Rich. It is hockey crazy. It is Vegas Golden Knights crazy. And, you know, you got blackjack dealers wearing jerseys. You got pit bosses wearing jerseys. You got the MGM Lion outside the hotel with a big jersey, the Statue of Liberty outside the New York. The Red Rock Resort and Hotel and Casino, they got all their employees are wearing Golden Knights stuff. It is just awesome, and it's their own, Rich, right? Like, it's not a team coming from city A, B, or C, and this team has just, I mean, it's galvanized the community, and they become a part of the fabric, and the game one was just, I mean, it was off the charts.
Well,
I mean, it was just absolutely incredible game one.
Well, I want to ask you the same question I've asked, everybody who's come on the show on the subject, from Barry Melrose to everybody who I've had on from the Vegas Golden Knights. You know, how did this happen, Eddie?
Yeah. You know what? I think George McPhee, the general manager, had a plan, and they identified a certain type of player, a certain athlete that they wanted to bring into the mix. And if anybody thinks that this was concocted or this was the plan by the league, that it was rigged a certain way, please, like, come on, go see a doctor. The rules were implemented, the expansion draft happened, and the general manager, George McPhee, went out and played a game of poker with a bunch of general managers in the National Hockey League and pretty much won every hand that he played. And when you bring in certain type of players and they come in and have this feeling of, okay, well, my opportunity wasn't in City A, I'm going to get the opportunity here. And all these guys use that, as a motivator. And you got the guy in goal who had won 3 Stanley Cups, and Marc-Andre Fleury, a terrific coach in Gerard Gallant. They wanted to play a certain way, and look, from day one, they played the same exact way to where they are right now, 3 wins away from the Stanley Cup. And look, if people or other teams don't like it, well, you know what? Do something about it. Beat them. L.A. had a chance to beat them. They lost 4 straight. San Jose had a chance, Rich. They lost in 6. Winnipeg had a chance. They lost in 5. So look, nothing is given to anybody, and this team has earned everything, and they deserve to be where they are. I still can't believe it. I mean, it's an incredible story. If they're not the sports team of the decade, shame on everybody, because this has just been a movie in the making, considering what they've been able to accomplish and how they've really galvanized this community.
Yeah, my favorite line that I heard on this very subject, Eddie, I'm with Eddie Olczyk of NBC Sports, was from George McPhee himself. We had him on the day after they beat the Winnipeg Jets to make the Stanley Cup Finals, and he basically said anybody who in the league who's complaining about the rules, they all accepted the $17 million expansion check from our owner. It's just it was really just a great line.
Again, the rules were put in place, and again, like some players. I mean, a guy like William Karlsson, he had 43 goals this year. He only had 6 in Columbus.
Unbelievable.
So, look, just sometimes, and I was traded enough over my 16-year career in the league, Rich. So sometimes opportunities close, and then when you're traded, another opportunity opens up. And you had all these players that, teams didn't want. And again, I'm sure, and I know this from talking to general managers around the league, is that George McPhee, bluffed a couple of teams and said, look, we like player A, when they really didn't. So they knew who they wanted to get, and then they end up getting draft picks along with the players that they accumulated. And it's an incredible story. It's the only way to really put it. And hard to believe is that they're 3 wins away from winning a Stanley Cup in their very first year of existence.
That's right. And the Caps opportunity knocking for Ovechkin and that team as well. What do you think the adjustment is this evening? I mean, do they need to even make one? I mean, they were up 4-3, Eddie, in game 1. What do you think about tonight's game 2 on NBCSN when the puck drops at 8 Eastern?
Yeah, well, I think before I get into the adjustments, the one thing I will say, Rich, is going back to game 1. At 4-3, John Carlson, the defenseman for the Caps, hits the post. Okay, could easily made it 5-3, but it didn't. And then shortly after that, Carlson gets cross-checked from behind in front of his own net. Ryan Reeves of the Vegas Golden Knights gets the puck, goes top shelf, ties the game. The goal should not have counted. There should have been a penalty. It was missed by the officials. That's the way that it goes. Give Vegas credit. They took advantage. And then late in the game when they were trailing 5-4, that being the Caps, Lars Eller had a wide-open net, and he just kind of, his momentum got broken, concentration got broken by a great stick by Braden McNabb. So the window was open for Washington. It really was. Now, in saying what will be the adjustments, I don't know if they want to get into one of those games at 6-4, 5-3. Rich, I don't think so. I think they got to get back to playing the way they did when they eliminated Pittsburgh in Game 6 and how they played against Tampa the first couple of games, and then, of course, late in that series against Tampa. It's got to be tight. It's got to be 5 guys back in the middle of the ice, wait for an opportunity to jump the other way. I don't think you want to be getting a shootout with Vegas because they relish that type of game. And look, Washington doesn't mind playing that, but you got to pick your spots. You got to be more selective. And both goalies, I would expect, to be way better than they were in Game 1 because I think both goaltenders were below average at best in Game 1.
A few minutes left with Eddie Olczyk here on the Rich Eisen Show. You think Tom Wilson should have been suspended for that hit on March or so, Eddie?
Very close. I don't think a suspension. I think for sure a penalty. And look, it took the officials a while, but they got it right. It was a late hit. Could I seen him get a 5-minute interference call? Yeah, I could have seen that. I would not have had a problem with that. I don't think it was late where I would have given him a suspension. But to me, the referees initially missed it. They held it up. They got some help, and they made the right call. And to me, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But I could argue a 5-minute penalty without question. But I would not have suspended him on the hit.
Well, the thing that I've been talking about, obviously having with an NFL background here from this chair, is the concept of defenseless player. Okay, and the NFL, that would have definitely been a fine from the NFL. The NFL would definitely be taking some money from a player for a hit like that. Do you think the NHL should do that from someone from Tom Wilson? If not, make something like that a suspendable hit for somebody who's got a rap sheet like Wilson already has in these playoffs. Eddie.
Well, there are rules in place, and yes, with the fines, and it's limited to what they've the collective bargaining agreement that they've agreed on, the number and what have you. But for me, I think it's one of those plays that I'd like to see it eliminated from the game, and the only way you're going to eliminate it, Rich, is be much stiffer on the penalty. And if you think it's a suspendable hit, and you say, look, when you're tracking a guy from the blind side, and he moves the puck well ahead of, because, again, hockey is a fast game, football is a fast game. Guys change their angle. Guys change their level. Stuff happens. Contact's going to happen. Guys are going to get hit in the head. It's just inevitable. But when you think you can avoid that type of hit, now, could Tom Wilson have avoided that hit on Marchessault? Absolutely. But what's the deterrent, Rich? What is the deterrent? Is it 5-game suspension? Is it 10-game suspension? Is it a $100,000 fine? Trust me, guys will think twice if they know exactly what it is. And look, I think the NHL has come a long way when it comes to the rules and implementing fines and suspensions. I think they've done a really good job, and it's always going to be subjective, without question. But until it is black and white, and when you say, you track a player and you go ahead and come from a blind spot and you drill them late, or you hit him in the head late, or you hit him in the head and that's what's targeted, until there's those suspensions and it's black and white. When I'm talking about the suspension, I'm not talking plays, because there are, black and white is not the way that professional sports is. Mm-hmm. But for me is that if you can implement something where players know what is the deterrent, and I use that word in capital letters. If there's a deterrent, players will be less apt to go ahead and take advantage of a player that's in a really rough spot. We like hockey. We know. I know the difference. We know the difference between hockey plays and hockey plays that go bad, and then guys just being selfish, and we want to get rid of the selfish plays.
Last one for you, Eddie. 10 days until the Belmont Stakes. Do you think Justify pulls it off, the Triple Crown?
I do. I do. I think he is. I think he is the horse. I don't think a mile and a half is going to be a problem. He's got the best trainer in the world in Bob Baffert. So for me, a mile and a half race in the Belmont, or any long horse race, Rich, being a huge fan and a handicapper and playing the horses since I was 14 years old. Those long-distance races are a jockey's race, and he's got one of the best in Mike Smith on him. And the mile-and-a-half race almost becomes a half-a-mile race. That's what it is, because for the first mile, whatever it is, mile and 70 yards, it's just kind of galloping along, getting position. He's very tactical, that being justified, and I think we're going to have our second Triple Crown winner in 4 years.
That'd be incredible. 37-year wait last time. It would just be a couple for this time. It's unbelievable.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I know. And does it have to rain, you think, to be beneficial?
You know what? I'm tired of the rain. Okay, we had the wettest.
You're out in Vegas. You're out in Vegas.
Right now is great. Look, trust me. If we can run the race here at Vegas, I'd be really happy. I could shack up at the Red Rock Resort Casino and Hotel, and I could be there and do my job. I don't think my bosses would be too pleased. But look, please, I just want. I'll be look at. You know what? I'm going to be really. I'm just going to step. I like 77 and sun. That's it. That's what I'd like.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Now, I'm just trying to pick it up. So is Emmerich at the tables? Is Doc there? Because knowing him with his sharp brain, he'd be sitting there counting cards. Eddie, don't you think? Is he a count?
Yeah.
Right?
He is. He is Rain Man when he's around the craps.
So is that his game? Doc Emmerich's game is craps?
No. Trust me. Doc, I don't think Doc's ever picked up a pair of dice. Seriously, I don't think he's picked up a pair of cards. I don't. But I would like to go play craps with him. I would, because I think he'd be terrific. He could go ahead and break it down. He picks up the dice. He throws. He hits the chip 7 out.
He knifes the yo.
Right. And there go the dice like they're around the roulette wheel.
He just knifed that a hard 8. Fantastic, yeah. Eddie. I enjoy listening to the call.
I appreciate it.
We'll chat again soon.
Rich.
Be well.
Sounds good. Have a great day.
You got it. That's Eddie Olczyk. Right there on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.